Hi, frequent flower friends. We are back this month with some beautiful flowers, and I'm going to teach you a fun little trick today that I just learned myself from my staff. So let's walk you through what you got this month. So first up, you are getting some foliage. These are called Fatsia japonica. Some names stick with me and some names don't. This one does. I don't know why. But this is a foliage we love working with. There's a lot of creative things we can do with it, and it's going to be the magic trick to the tip I'm going to teach you today. So Fatsia is this one. Then you also, this month, have some Solomio. That's how you have to say it. I don't really know if it's Italian or not, and my accent is terrible, but it's fun. So Solomio is actually like a cousin to the carnation. Looks a lot like a mini carn, but has a very different petal. Has sort of a ruffled petal. It's not as dense in the center that makes it look very delicate. And what's really popular right now is this butterfly ranunculus. Solomio has sort of that delicate butterfly ranunculus look as well. So it's a great sub for that. And it comes in a variety of colors. Your bouquet this month might have all one shade. You might have a mix. We've got several colors in, so we're kind of mix and matching as we're putting your bouquets together this month. And our showstopper this month is the Felicity rose. She has a really dense petal count. She's sort of this softy peach color, and we haven't done roses in frequent flower for a while, so why not this month? Let's get started by processing our flowers. To start with your Solomio, you are going to remove any of the lower leaves. And you know what, till we get arranging, I'm not sure if I'm going to cut off some of these longer laterals. We probably will, but I don't like to get too far ahead of myself. So to start, you can just take off those lower leaves, anything that's going to hit the water. We don't want the leaves to hit our water line because that's where bacteria starts to grow, and that shortens our vase life. And our vase here, I've just got a pretty simple vase. What's important is a vase that's going to have a narrower neck. It's really going to help keep your flowers in place, keep them standing the way you want to. I think often we see a really cool container and we want to make it work, but if we don't have enough stems, a really wide mouth container can be very difficult to arrange in without the correct mechanics. So something like this for beginners is a great way to start, where it's got really about, I would say this is probably about a 2.5, 3-inch opening, but then the neck part is probably only about 2.5 inches. So that's perfect. Our roses, they do have some thorns, but not a lot. So just be careful. Again, I'm just going to remove any of those lower leaves. And then roses typically have guard petals. These are the first petals that the flower produces to protect those inner petals. So often they're a little beat up. Sometimes they have really neat color variation, but you can just gently pull those off. And because these have such a high petal count, they're still going to be beautiful. I'm going to give mine a little bit of a zhuzh. You don't have to do this, but we see how she looks now. I'm just going to give her a little bit of a twist. And look at that. How beautiful. So you're going to do that with all of your roses. If you come across any thorns, you can just strip them off, trim them off, however, whatever makes sense to you. We've got all of our flowers ready to be arranged with. So we're going to start off by using this little trick I told you about with the Fatsia. So recently, my team and I went to the Illinois State Florist Association. This is an industry association here in the state of Illinois that I've been actively involved in years. And every year they put on a great convention where florists come to get inspired, to learn new tips and tricks, to meet up with our floral family. It's always so much fun. I participated in a competition this year, so did Trista. It's just a way to grow and stretch ourselves as designers. So some of my employees took a class where they learned the trick I'm going to show you today. And I think the fun and exciting thing about what we do as creatives is there's always something new to learn. And I think that's really important as designers, that even though we may teach, we're always learning. So I had one of my employees walk me through this yesterday, and I was like, show me the Fatsia trick. Now I'm going to show it to you. All right. You are going to take these two leaves. You are going to face them towards each other. So they're looking at each other. You're going to put the stems right side by side. So we've kind of created this little umbrella. In your bouquet of the month, you always have a little bit of bind wire that holds the informational cards and your name cards and holds it all together. Keep it this time. We're going to use it. If you've already tossed it, don't, because this is so helpful. It's basically like a fancy twisty tie. But if you have a bread tie or a twisty tie or a pipe cleaner, all of it could do the same thing. So we have our stems together. You are just going to take that bind wire and bind those stems together. What we're creating is a little grid to hold our flowers. So I often talk about when you arrange into your vase that you want to crisscross your stems to create that grid to hold them in place. That's still going to be the case, but this is going to help us a little bit. It's like a little natural armature that's going to hold our flowers. So now we're going to cut this so this sits right at the mouth of our vase. I might even go a smidge lower. See what we've got there? Now we can start to place our flowers. I'm going to keep this kind of low and lush just because we have a lot of stems, but not a ton. And so I want it to feel kind of full. And I'm going to start with my first rose. I'm going to think about the height of my arrangement. I think this is about as tall as I want it to go. I like to measure right up against my table, and then I know right where to cut so that it's going to hit the bottom of that vase. And I'm going to go right down between those two leaves. And she's probably not going to stay perfectly this first go around, but as we add leaves, she will. Now, you can work your stems between the leaves. You could even poke little holes through the leaves. I think we're going to do that to kind of keep things in place. I've got 5 roses. So I think I'm going to arrange these, if I were looking from above, almost like the side of a dice with 5. So you have 4 corners and 1 in the middle. Now, when thinking about this, I don't want them to be all on the same level. I want there to be a little variation. So I'm going to leave my center dot on my dice, my tallest, and then my other 4 are going to be slightly lower. So about a head size lower. And I'm actually going right at the lip of the vase, crossing my stems, and just through sort of the gaps in the leaves. I have not made any holes in that leaf yet. That center one's going to move on you a few times until we get all of our stems into place. What a fun little hack. What a fun little trick with this Fatsia to get it to stay in place. So I can't take credit. Neither can my team. We learned from another florist who probably learned from another florist, and that's just how it works. We all share information. Okay, now we're going to go in with our Solomio. I am going to trim. So see how this is kind of a short lateral? I can trim this here, and now I have 2 decent stems, good length to work with. Obviously, I can make this shorter. We're going to go in. This is where we're playing. This is where I literally just poked right through those leaves, and that's staying exactly where I want it. Same thing here. I've got this long one. I'm going to trim that. So you can choose if you go through the leaf or just by the side of the leaf. And as I place my stems in, I am trying to place them down in at an angle. You can see my stems down here. They start to crisscross to create that grid. All right, so this one, I've got a lot of different laterals to play with. You can cut those apart. And I've just got two of this really pretty red color, so I'm going to kind of work them opposite of each other. And you can play with color depending on what you got in your bouquet. You know, sometimes for every action, there's a reaction that's going to balance it when you've got a symmetrical arrangement. We also could have done grouping. A lot of our videos, we've talked about grouping where, you know, maybe we're color blocking where all the red is here and the peach is here and the green is here. And that can be a really elevated way of approaching color with your design too. The fun part is you're learning, so you get to play and experiment and just see what works best for you, or you can try it different ways. I am loving this little trick. So my employees came back so excited and they were like, we have to get Fatsia in right away. I have to show you this trick. And it didn't happen right away, but now we have it. And they're right. It's such an easy way. And you've got a little bit of your greenery. It's simple. It's clean. Great tip. Great tip. So happy that I could share this with you guys today. I hope you enjoy your freaking flowers this month. As always, you can always comment if you have any questions, and we'll see you guys again next time.